Well, and good morning. Today we are going to take this piece of aluminum and trim off the edges like I told you yesterday. So right now we're getting ready to move it out to the front yard on the sidewalk where we're going to do the work on it. So hopefully we'll see how this goes. The general plan is to router these edges down to where they're nice and smooth, and we'll have to make sure that we get the right router bit for this, and hopefully we'll be able to set this up. All right, we'll keep going. All right, as you can see, we moved it to the sidewalk, and now we're going to get the piece of wood that we need to raise the edge so that we can get it off the sidewalk so we can router those sides. And that piece, it's my handy dandy miscellaneous scrap 2x4 piece that suffers a lot of damage throughout my woodworking endeavors. But anyway, should be perfect for this. Might be a little short, but yeah, it's a little short, but we'll get it because we can slide the thing around and stuff. So what we'll do is we'll pick that up and put it on top of the 2x4. And then we'll get the router and we'll very carefully and meticulously go around this thing and take care of it. Okay, so my router is mounted to my router table, which I made myself. And those three screws that are there holding the router to the table have to come out, and I'm going to use my little Ryobi handheld screwdriver drill thing to get those out. So once that's out, then we can work on getting the power established over to the piece that we're going to trim. There we go. Okay, now that the router is off the table, we can see that. Put the table back over there, left the screws in there so we don't lose them. And now I gotta go get the router pieces so we can put the router together so that it'll work as a handheld router instead of a mounted one. Lucky for me, I keep all of my router pieces in my Ryobi router box, which is my bag there. So this should go pretty smoothly. And then we'll get to the other parts, which is getting the power from over here to out there by the sidewalk where that is. And then, yeah, so that's where it'll go. Yeah, so in order to do this right, you have to remount this plate onto the router. And you need to make sure that it's lined up. See, those holes really aren't lined up properly. I believe those are close, and those would do. That'll do. Is that correct? Yes, because there's the adjustment hole right there, and that's what it lines up with. Okay, so if you so these little holes are where the screws go to hold the plate, and then the bigger holes are when you mount it to something and you leave the plate on. But we're doing this so that we can use the router for the project that I already mentioned, which is the boat mat. Now, this is a dovetail jig. It works pretty good, but it is relatively complicated. These are some router bits, and what we're interested in today for the carpet mat is probably going to be the round over bit. I don't think I want the camber, or, well, it's not really a cove exactly, but whatever. So anyway, we'll get to that when we get there. Right now we still have to put this mounting plate on, so we're looking for the little screws down inside the box there, or bag. And there's the Allen wrench for, I'm not sure what that's for exactly. I'm sure it's for something. This is a dovetail bit. This is a smaller dovetail bit, but those are for woodworking. And you're probably not interested in those right now, so I'll skip that stuff. Here's some more bits. These are straight bits. We're not going to be using those today. And there's my neighbor Larry. Hey Larry. Right. Okay, so after Larry came over to talk about tables for his get-together that he's having, we have put the plate on. It's nice and tight. We have changed the bit out to this, I think it's a, what do they call that thing? They call that a Roman Ogie, and we're going to use that, and I'm thinking that it would really look pretty good because it's not really going to do the whole thing. And if I don't like it, then I can change it slightly to something else. But I'm still debating whether or not I like it or not, so we'll see. But I'm thinking that it'll be better for what we're purposing for, and either way it doesn't really matter as long as the trim looks good when it's all said and done. So now that we have these pieces all set, can put some of the pieces back into the bag here, and the bits, which we might need to come back for, but I'm actually able to get all this stuff back in there, which is really pretty handy and nice, and tries to keep my work area as clean as possible, but not as clean as I'd like it to be, because that's just not how work areas go. So, at least not for me. But we will be working on the work area cleanup later. Okay, so all the wrenches and everything are in there. Boom, see? Now, that way we don't lose any pieces. Okay. So, glove. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Now we're gonna go back over to the flooring over here. We'll set the router over there. That's why you really don't want to be dragging your power cord around, because it tends to get stuck on stuff. All right. So the router goes there. We still have to adjust the up and down part, but that's okay. Now I'll go get the power cord, and you guys can not have to be bored by that part. All right. Well, we had a little bit of a intermission because neighbors and things, but anyway, you can see the 2x4 is now under the aluminum piece, and we have the power over here, and we have the router, and now we're gonna figure out where the router needs to go as far as depth. And where it is right now is too far down, so we will, and it's not plugged in, so we don't have to worry too much about, you know, hurting ourselves right now. All right, good. Okay, so we've made the adjustment. I'm gonna show it to you so that you can see what I'm talking about. What we want here is that bearing right there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Well, the router bit itself has that bearing right there. You see the shiny piece? That's a bearing. And that is the guide bearing for the router blade. And we want it to be just on the aluminum without pushing down too hard on the router. So we're going to try this and see how it goes, and we'll see. Okay, well, the Ogie is not something I'm real happy with, but it did do a nice job trimming. The router did anyway. So I think we'll change the bit probably to a 45. Well, now some of you may be saying that why didn't you use the right bit in the first place? And all I can say is because I didn't know which one I wanted. I'm hoping that this gives me a better trim finish that I'm looking for. And I'll go back over the one I did already just so that it's kind of, you know, the same. But it won't be because it'll have more gouged out, but that's all right. It's a fishing boat. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so all safety concerns are already taken care of for this. Remember, use your glasses. In this case, a mask. We don't want to be breathing this stuff. And earmuffs. So I actually do use all those things. And I think this might have happened because it started getting a little hot. It looks like it might have melted a little bit. I'm not too concerned about that. And remember, you have to go against the spinning of the router, which means that you go this way. There's my carbon. All right. Come on over here, girl. No, get out of the road. Silly. Yeah, she's 17. We can't let her go rolling around on the road. Come on. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah, she likes coming out and helping me do this stuff, don't you? Come on. Come on, puppy. Come on. That's a good girl. Yeah. Okay. Well, so we'll get back to the thing as soon as we take care of whatever issue the doggy needs. So there we go. Okay, I have the left side, our starboard side for those boating folks, finished, and it looks pretty good. That's exactly what I was looking for. Doesn't have to be perfect, like I said, just has to be trimmed out so that it all fits, and it looks pretty good. So now we're going to do the top, a lot closer to the bow, and then we'll do the other side. Okay, so it's all trimmed. It went pretty well. I have some comments about the stuff and a router bit. Heat and melted glue that don't make your inner thighs feel very good when the hot glue jumps on your inner thigh and cools there. Anyway, there it is, and I'm going to be picking it up and bringing it back to the boat, and then you'll see kind of how it fits, because I'm going to set it down in there even though there's nothing underneath it yet because we haven't cleaned the boat out. So there it is, and you'll see that in a minute, and then this part of it will be over. And there it is inside. It's all done. For the trimming and the laying in and everything, it fits perfect. You know, so when I get the flooring out from under the shed later, I'll be able to put the styrofoam in, and we'll be good to go from there. So I think it looks pretty good. Color scheme goes with the boat awesomely, because it's an old army green aluminum John boat on the inside, and a nice new tan and black on the outside. It is not the prettiest boat in the world, but it's getting there, and hopefully we'll be out fishing in it in a little bit. Not today, of course, but when I say a little bit, I kind of mean, you know, like maybe a few weeks, or hopefully no later than a month. Thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever. Bye.